What is going on, guys? Today is going to be a fun day. It's going to be a lot of sanding, a lot of hard work, but it's going to be fun. So what we got to get done today, I want to get these doors flat blocked one more time with a guide coat, make sure these things are nice and straight, and then we got to jump on the truck. We got to sand everything, clean everything, the whole cab, fenders, doors, roof, get it all unmasked. We got to pull the windows and gaskets, all that stuff out of the passenger side doors. Basically, we got to go through and get the whole cab ready for paint. So that is on today's agenda. These doors should be really close. We shouldn't need anything else. But like always, I'm going to use a guide coat on it. We're going to take a long block it out, and make sure it's all straight. And then we got to do a little bit of chip guard on the bottom of the doors. So like I said, these things should be really close. We got a few more coats of high build on the entire doors. The only damage, this is the rear door, the only damage was kind of in the front here and then a little bit back in here, and this is the front door. A lot of the damage was towards kind of that rear half of the door. I'm not going to guide coat the entire doors. I'll probably just, well, I might just kind of guide coat this main center here. I'm not going to worry about down into here. Well, actually, this one had a little damage down in here, so I might put a little bit of guide coat down in there and block all that out. So let's get right to it. Let's clean these things up. I'm just going to wipe them down with some glass cleaner because they have been sitting for a while. So we're going to clean them and throw on our guide coat, and then we're going to use this long Durablock. This one's about a foot long, so we're going to use that. And this block is really hard, really nice and stiff. So when you long block with, this isn't really a long block. They make blocks that are like 2 feet long, but this door is kind of, it's flat throughout, like half the door, and then this back section kind of flares out a little bit, so you can't really block the entire door. In the back, we'll have to probably use a shorter block just because it is kind of concave, and these long blocks will kind of mess that up. So if it's nice and flat like up here, we can use this block, and you always want to sand kind of in an X like this, just so you don't have flat spots going down this radius here. You want to kind of do it at an angle and a diagonal like that. So let's hop right into it, get these things blocked out. We're going to put our chip guard probably about halfway up to match what's on there already. Kind of showed you guys in previous videos. So we're just going to do about half of that bottom of this rocker, and then we'll throw a little bit of primer on top of that, and these doors will be ready for paint. All right, we got these two doors blocked out. The front door seems a lot straighter. It was along this body line here. I had to do quite a bit of blocking, but I think we got that really straight. There's a little bit of bare spot there. This one has a little bit of a low spot right in here, and then you can see I got a bare spot right here. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm just going to hit the bottom with the chip guard, and then I'm going to come back over the chip guard and this area here. Actually, I might just kind of hit that whole area one more time with the high build. And then same thing here, I'll bring the chip guard up, and then I'll probably come up to this line here with the primer, just because I want to cover up that chip guard with primer as well, and that'll take care of these bare spots. So we are pretty much ready to go for the chip guard. So let's bust that out, hose that on the bottoms, and then we'll get our primer and cover that up. Alright guys, we are making some progress. So I did a couple coats on both of the doors, the entire doors, just to make sure. There was a couple thin spots here and there, so everything looks pretty good. This back door had a little bit of work I need to do right in here. So once it dries up enough, we're going to block it out again and see if that will come out with one more block. And I got started working on the truck. So both fenders are 100% done. These doors I scuffed up a little bit. We've still got some more work to do there. I'm trying to get the windows out, but I need to get the driver's door on because all the wiring runs through that switch over to here. So I can't roll these windows down right now, but there is a couple of little dings and a little bit of waviness right here. You can see low spot there, maybe a little bit right there, and then there was one right here, and then I only saw one ding in the rear door. It was pretty small, but I want to fix it. So what I think I'm going to do with these is sand them with like 180 grit, get them really scuffed up, and then since they're so shallow, I'm just going to use this metal glaze, and that's kind of what this is for. It says it can be applied over sanded OEM paint, and you don't want to put this stuff on obviously big dents, but something like what we're working with is just a really shallow dent. It's not going to take much at all. So I think that's what we're going to do right now, and then we'll have to get, once we get those sanded flat, we'll get out some high build and hit those spots just to cover in all the sand scratches. So let's go through and fix all these dings, and then once these doors are hardened up, we can throw the door on and get all these windows and these gaskets off the doors. All right guys, I think we are getting close. So the front door blocked out really nice, really flat, and really fast. So I know that one's straight. This rear door, I was having some issues. There was a low spot right here. There was kind of a low spot running down right here, and then high spot there, and it was a little bit low right in here. So like I've said many times, I am kind of just learning as I go. One tip I want to give you guys, especially when you're doing the final block on your primer, you got to have a low enough grit sandpaper to actually cut it without putting a bunch of pressure into it, because when you put a bunch of pressure into the block kind of flexes and it'll kind of create, or it'll flex into the low spots. So I was trying to initially cut it with like 320, I think, just to save myself some time with the finished sand going up to 600. But that has cost me a lot more time because I thought it was flat with the guide coat. It would sand all the guide coat out. But then when I would take my wax and grease remover and spray it on there, I would see ripples in it. I would see these low spots. So I jumped down to 120. You could cut it with 80 grit, but that's pretty rough for something like this. So 120 grit actually cut it really nice, really flat. You can see we got a little bit of high spot there. Obviously that high spot, I still might block a little bit more in the center here because there's just a little low spot, a little bit of guide coat left. But what I was doing is I would guide coat it, get it close, and then I'd throw more guide coat on top of that and just keep doing that. And I actually got a lot of this out. One thing I want to show you, I know I've showed you before, but take some wax, this is just regular wax and grease remover, and spray it on there, nice and heavy, get it nice and wet. And that'll give you a nice look. You can see it'll kind of give you some shine, and you can see kind of what it's looking like. So that's looking actually really close. One more primer session is going to get this thing nice and flat. It doesn't really need any fillers. I initially was going to put some in here, but I kept blocking it out and it looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to leave that. So let's just hit this one spot right here in the center with primer one more time, and then we'll block that and we should be good for paint. You know, as I'm looking at this, it's almost, this body line right here is almost still a little bit low. There's still a little bit of guide coat in there, and there's not much primer left in that one spot just because I was blocking it quite a bit. So what I think I'm going to do is just rough that up real quick and just put just a skim coat of filler right there, just so I don't have to block with a bunch of primer. I'd rather have some filler there. So I think that's the plan, is a little bit of filler on just on that body line, but everything else looks really good. So let's get the filler on, sand that flat, and then we'll get some primer on it. Alright guys, we are very close. We got these doors stripped, got all the gaskets, windows, everything out. I did burn through a couple spots on the top here. So I got another coat of primer along the top here. The rest of the doors are good to go. So we're gonna let that sit overnight, as well as the door, just to give it time to shrink up because it is a little bit cooler in the shop here. This is actually looking a lot better. That body line looks a lot straighter. So one more block, should be good to go on that. Give it a final sand. We did get the other door on, so all we got to do is get this door finished up, get it on the truck, get everything cleaned up, masked up, and we are ready to paint. Also, if you guys saw the bike, my daughter's birthday is tomorrow. She is turning 5 years old, so I gave her bike a little makeover with some new graphics and plastics. So on her birthday tomorrow, I'm gonna bring her in here and let's get her reaction, see if she likes it. Also, one other thing I didn't really think about is the seat cover. So it looks a little off right now. I might order one up, get that swapped out for maybe just the all black one, or if they got some pink on one. But either way, we'll get out here tomorrow and see if she likes the bike.
What happened to my dirt bike? Oh, what happened to my dirt bike, Daddy?
I don't know. Do you like it?
Yeah.
What's the front plate say? What's it say on there?
I don't know.
What's that say?
Happy birthday.
What does
No.
A-V-E-R-Y spell?
Avery.
Yeah.
Your dirt bike see your name on it?
Do you like it?
Yes.
Well guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Like I said, we're gonna let this primer sit overnight. We'll get out here tomorrow and sand it all, get it ready to go, get the door back on. And then we gotta clean up the booth. We do have to actually make the door for that booth. I got my zipper in, so we're gonna have to do that. Get it all sealed up and see if our filters are gonna work. Then we gotta get the truck in, get it cleaned up, get everything masked, and we can finally spray this thing out. Getting very, very excited to get this thing one color again. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go smash that thumbs up button. We'll see you in the next one.